welcome to day 3. So this is a little mini series that I'm creating, the life and times of a wax boss, kind of like my journey into Scentsy, little kind of hurdles I've got over, steps in my journey that maybe you might find interesting, maybe you won't, but I just thought I would share them because sometimes it's nice to hear how other people got started, what they do, what they found difficult, what challenges they overcome, and all that jazz. So today, if I look down, it's because I've got notes. I kind of like, I can easily sidetrack and waffle. So I do try to have some notes just as little prompts to keep me on track to what I'm talking about. So day 1, I kind of talked about how I'd followed my sponsor for quite a long time on social media before I'd kind of broached the subject of having a party, I think it was, first of all, and then a whole year kind of went past before I actually contacted her about joining. And I kind of talked about the whole of that process and how I felt as an anxiety sufferer, how I kind of felt going through the process of making the decision to join. Day 2, so episode 2, I talked more about the box, the starter kit, and when it arrived and how I felt and the significance of it and how powerful that box in hindsight was. You know, a lot of people would have just seen the box as a kit and that's it. No, not me. I read a lot deeper into things, and that box, that kit completely changed my life. So today I want to talk a little bit more about that, and like gaining my first customer, and kind of like self-belief and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you'll enjoy today's little episode. So I had joined, I had received my kit, I had gone through my kit, I had done all the kind of like, oh, what's this and what's that and how does it work and what am I going to do with this and all that kind of stuff. And I was like full of ideas and didn't know what to do next, kind of thing. And I was really, really lucky that I was surrounded by some really, really amazing close friends who had stood by me through all of this anxiety, and most of them, when I was saying I was going to join, they were pretty much, you've got to do it, this could be really good for you, we'll support you, we'll help you, whatever we can do we will, kind of thing. And I was so grateful for that because I think that encouragement was what I needed, because I didn't really particularly believe in myself. I was questioning everything, so to have somebody believe in you, or at that time believe in me, was quite amazing, really, because it gave me that little bit of confidence, that boost of confidence to maybe make little tiny baby steps forward and have a conversation and dare to bring it up in conversation that I was a consultant now. And you know, otherwise I'm not totally sure how I would have got started. So I'm really, really grateful to the friends that I had around me. I have learnt since having a team that everyone's circle of friends is incredibly different. I was really, really, really lucky that I only had a handful of friends, and those friends were everything to me. Do you know what I mean? Really, really close, my confidants, people that knew me, that I could be myself with. And I was really lucky that they led from a place of real deep care and compassion for me, not through any other rose tinted glasses or any other misconceptions or badly placed judgments on social media, on direct selling, nothing. They literally led like, what is good for Elena? If Elena is going to feel good by doing this, we are 100% behind her. So I was really lucky that the people around me were very positive, very encouraging, and like I say, were kind of the ones that were holding me up as my legs were wobbly, making decisions. So absolutely, that made a massive difference to me getting started. I remember my first sale, and my lovely friend who was like completely behind me. She'd come round, at the time we were having cups of tea and coffee every week, and she'd come round and I said, oh, I've got the kit, oh my god, I've got the kit. And we sat around the kitchen table, and literally the whole time she was with me, we were talking about the products. She was looking through the catalogue. We had all the testers out on the table, and I mean, I could sit and smell all the testers today. You know, I quite happily can while away an hour just enjoying the fragrances that we have to offer. I fall back in love with fragrances every time I smell our testers, because it's not something I do actually every day. It's something I tend to do when I'm talking about the products, if I'm doing a basket party or a sit and sniff or an open house or something like that. Other than that, I don't tend to sit and smell them. I don't have time to sit and smell them. But when I do have that time to sit and smell the testers, I fall back in love with all the fragrances that maybe I haven't warmed for ages, maybe I haven't had a bar myself for ages. And I remember sitting with her and we were going through everything, and all she kept going is, oh my God, that's lovely. Oh wow, look at that. Oh my God, look at that. Oh wow, 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 wow. And I was just like, I didn't really know what to say, because it was all a bit like, there's that the self-belief aspect was kicking in, like, is she saying that just because she's saying it, or does she genuinely mean it? And she did genuinely mean it. She was literally, oh my God, these are lovely. And I think for her, because she lived in a house of men and boys, like to her, like fragrance was quite important. She'd also got a dog, and was conscious of like people going around her house and wanted to smell nice. So she already had like home fragrance systems in her home. Not Scentsy, obviously, but then obviously when she saw all of these products, she was just blown away. And literally by the end of the sort of hour and a half, 2 hours that we'd been sitting around the kitchen table talking about all the products and all the fragrances, she'd kind of compiled a pile of testers that she loved, and she decided on a warmer. And she was like, yeah, I'll order that. And I was a bit like, oh, okay. And taken aback. And again, that kind of, is she pity buying? Is she pity buying because she feels sorry for me? Or is she buying because she genuinely loves it? And she was buying because she genuinely loves it. But it was like that my issue, not hers, my issue of like, I don't want people to pity buy for me. I want them to buy because they love it. But she did, she loved it. And that was kind of like my first sale. And I remember sitting there thinking, obviously this was one of my very close friends. I was sitting there thinking, I can't believe she's just bought that. Like she didn't even batter an eyelid over the price. It wasn't particularly expensive, but you know, it's still spending money on something. You know, and I was just like, wow, okay. I know people have told me that it sells itself, because I wasn't selling it. I didn't sit there with a sales speech or a list of things to tell her. We were just literally sitting there sniffing all the testers, going, oh my God, I could have that in the bathroom. Oh wow, that would go really nice in the lounge. Oh, that fragrance is gorgeous. And that's how we were talking, because I was really excited about the products. I mean, again, I have 2 dogs and I was always using glass jar candles. And at the time, although I had really, really bad anxiety, I was still working from home. I was a beauty therapist working from home. And at the time, people were still kind of going through my house a little bit. Although I'd got my studio, if they needed the loo or anything like that, they'd go through my house. I was always conscious that I had to have home fragrance on, because I didn't want someone to walk in and it'd be honky dog. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was kind of like, I was passionate about the products. I knew that 100% that these were going to be in my home. Yeah, I wasn't convinced. I didn't feel confident that anybody else would feel the same. So when she purchased, I was like, oh my God. And it was really, really exciting. That first order like came out of the blue. I wasn't expecting her to buy a thing. I was literally, oh my God, look what the kit's arrived. You need to have a little look. It wasn't me trying to sell anything. I didn't have a sales speech, like I said. You know, I wasn't kind of, oh yeah, you should get that or anything like that. I was just sort of sitting back, laughing and giggling and talking about all the products. So I was quite wowed that actually someone felt the same, and she has always supported me. I'm not going to mention any names because obviously this is YouTube. This is going to go out on all my platforms. I don't want to embarrass her, but she's always supported me. She continues 6.5 years on to buy Scentsy from me. She loves the product. She's bought them for gifts for her family, for her friends, and she's fully supported me, and I couldn't wish for somebody more lovely, do you know what I mean? And that's just one of my friends. I've got plenty of friends that are like that. But that first sale is kind of like a massive milestone. You know, I know it sounds a bit silly, but like for me, I had joined, felt like I don't really know what I'm doing, this is going to work, you know, this is going to involve a lot of change, challenges. I'd got the kit, I was like, oh my god, what am I going to do with this? Trying to figure everything out, and then have a coffee and a cake and chat about it over the kitchen table, simple as that, with a friend, and there's my first order. And it was just like, wow, okay. And there was that little tiny element of me, although I was a little bit like, is she pity buying, like I said, or is she doing this because she's just supporting me? Does she genuinely love the product? So there was obviously that kind of little bit like, is it? But there was also that element of, well, if my friend loves it and is willing to purchase it, she's got good taste. So surely there's going to be other people out there. This is a good sign. So it kind of gave me that little tiny, although I was a little bit self-doubt, it also gave me a little bit of confidence to think, actually, this brand is pretty blinking amazing. And let's see what happens. So that was kind of like, I wanted to share that with you so you could get an idea of how things evolve. You know, lots of people think, oh, you start a direct selling business and you're all over social media, you're spamming everybody and you're being highly annoying and you don't know what you're talking about and you're flashing all these products. And actually, that is some people. But actually, like for me, I didn't really see Scentsy as a direct selling brand. I saw it as a direct selling brand, but it was my business to grow. And I had that very slight separation where, you know, not everything was going to be all over social media. You know, quite happy to sit quietly with a mate on a one-to-one, having a cup of coffee and a slice of cake, sniffing testers, talking about products. And it really worked for me. And for me personally, being an anxiety sufferer, I'm so much better on a one-to-one. One-to-one, I'm absolutely fine. One-to-a-couple, I'm absolutely fine. Get me in front of a group of people, and depending on the context, I want to kind of sit at the back and partake. I don't want to be leading it. So for me, having anxiety, being able to like do this business in such a lovely way, just kind of like gave me options, gave me choices, and gave me the ability to kind of become more confident slowly, rather than, oh, somebody telling me, oh, you got to do it party plan, you got to go out and you got to do 6 parties a month and you got to have a group of at least 10 people per party. That would have freaked the living flipping daylights out of me. That's not my personality. It could well be your personality, and if that is the case, fantastic, but it wasn't for me. So knowing that actually I had the freedom of seeing it as my own business, which it is, although it's part of a direct selling brand, I was able to do what works for me. Do you know what I mean? What makes me happy, that kind of puts fire in my belly, that gives me excitement, that gives me pleasure. So it's that's what I love about this industry, and especially Scentsy and direct sales, that yes, there's a business model. And the business model is proven, okay? It's proven worldwide for donkey's years. It's nothing new. It's not a pyramid scheme. They don't exist in the UK. And if they did, they would be illegal and shut down. So the misconceptions that people have is just through ignorance, through not understanding the industry and how the businesses work. But, you know, the direct selling business is a direct selling, which means it's missing out the middleman, it's missing out the shop, it's missing out the bricks and mortar and the overheads and the bills and the constraints and all of the should and the coulds and the do's and the musts kind of within that kind of setting, and it gives individual people like me or you the ability to start their own business without all of those overheads, with a proven business model, with a product that is sourced for us, with marketing that's done for us, with design that's done for us, with shipping that's all looked after for us, with IT and websites that are created and monitored and looked after for us. It's everything is done for us. All we have to do is share the product. And how you share the product is what makes you you. And it took me ages to learn that, like literally probably 6 months to get my head around it, because although I wanted to see it like that, it was at the time very weighed heavy on party. And I felt a bit of a what would I call myself? Nonconformist, probably, where I've gone, no, I don't want any pressure, I don't want any targets, I want to be told what to do. Everyone else is, booking parties and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, no, I'm happy to do my sit and sniff. I'm happy just to see my friends one-to-one. So I was kind of like not conforming to the ideology back then. But do you know what? It's changed so much. And, we all bring something different to the table. And my anxiety may be seen as a negative, and sometimes it is a negative, but the positives are that it's allowed me to be strong in areas of my life, with one-to-one and communication and understanding people and empathy and having that emotional intelligence and being able to share and talk passionately about something without having to say, and do you want to buy that? That's my strength. That's something that I have cultivated and created and just almost come naturally to me. Whereas if I was kind of pressured or felt pressured that I had to do party plan, I think I would have left a long time ago. And that's the uniqueness, somebody that could join me tomorrow could be super duper confident, a social butterfly, absolutely love being centre of attention, love doing parties, love getting out of the house, getting away from the kids and the husband, Saturday night with the girls, having a Prosecco, whatever. That's amazing if that is that person. That's amazing, and there's a place for everybody. Just for me, I'm much more comfortable and confident on a smaller scale, being more intimate with people, really getting to know my customers and what they like. And I love doing my open houses, which is involving more people, but it's on my terms. It's my home, my setup. I can do it in the time frame that I want to do it. It's very kind of like comfortable for me, and because I'm comfortable, I hope that I allow my guests who turn up to feel comfortable and wanted and free to stay as long as I like, or free to go when they want to go. And I always say that to people, that if you come to my open house and you don't feel like you have to stay and linger, when you get invited to somewhere like a party and you feel like, right, we can't leave before 2 hours because it's going to look really rude, if you're an anxiety sufferer, that's 2 hours of torture sometimes. Do you know what I mean? And so it's not worth it. You live once. You only live once. You have to be happy. You have to be comfortable in your skin, but you have to do that from a place of honesty. You have to tell people that that's not me. I don't like that. So when I invite guests to my open house, I say, look, if you want to come in, you want to have a little mooch, you want to purchase, and you just want to go, that's fine by me. No bad feelings. I'm quite absolutely happy about that. That's not a problem. If you want to come, you want to grab a cup of tea, you want a little chin wag, fine. If you want to stay the whole 2 hours, fine. I don't like pressure, so I try my hardest to make sure that people that are supporting me, who are coming to do the things that I'm doing, also feel comfortable. Do you know what I mean? And hopefully this is I'm trying to give you the insight of how you can make your Scentsy business fit you, suit you, be you, and also tap into your strengths so you feel empowered, so you feel comfortable and passionate, and you can authentically grow your business from a place where everything kind of flows, the energy's good. That makes sense. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I have got something planned for next time. That was my next video is going to be about my first team member, and it's funny, honestly. I will tell you all because it is funny. It's a really funny conversation I had before I went and did something. So definitely subscribe, definitely like this video if you've enjoyed listening to it, and if you subscribe, then when my next video episode 4 comes up, definitely tune in for that one because it is quite funny. You'll see the Elena behind the consultant, and it will be relevant to anxiety as well. So again, it's another kind of layer of my journey and how I felt. Anyway, that's it makes me giggle just thinking about it. That's for next time. So thank you for watching. See you soon.